What types of courses do you teach?
Well, both collaborative and independent. I've got 5 collaborative courses that go through a cycle, and there's an ongoing 2 independent classes that are always happening for me.
What is your experience as an online instructor?
Well, it's been good. Students are generally eager to do the work. They're well prepared. They send their stuff in on time, in fact, way ahead of time most of the time. It's fun to go back and forth in response to their work, and we have great conversations. So generally, it's been really good. You know, I think it's easier for students to ask questions. Since I teach theology classes, people have big questions, and they might not, in a classroom of 30 people, ask that question. And sure, they could come to my office, but you know, that's kind of a barrier too in the minds of some people. But online, hey, ask away. So just send me an answer that's a little different and I'll respond, or just send me an email, which, yeah, any student could do. But I think that's the best. It opens up a way of communicating.
What has been your biggest challenge?
When I'm in a regular conventional class, I can tell by the look on somebody's face they're ready to go. They've got the answer. And my signature statement is, I like that look. Go with that look, you know? There is no look on an online class. And you kind of pick up on the nature of the person and how they're responding through what they send in, but we don't have that immediate look. That's the biggest challenge for me.
How do you get to know your students?
You know, a little bit's the one-on-one in terms of my responding to everything they send in. And I put comments on what they send and send it back. Or in a collaborative, I respond to every post that somebody makes on the initial posting, the initial question. So that's a way to go back and forth with them. And most people, or many, will respond to my response, and it keeps on going. But you know, sometimes we just have fun. I do my work mostly in the early morning with a cup of coffee and with a panel of YouTube music on. And so I just like to ask those questions. Hey, what do you watch while you're doing e-learning? And you know, most people say, well, now that you're willing to admit you watch something else, oh, we have great discussions on, this, and this, or, you know, here's what you can't do e-learning without great coffee. What says e-learning to you? And so we have discussions about those things. They're on the side, but they're fun.
How do you give quality feedback?
Well, as I said, in a collaborative course where they're posting on a discussion, with usually 2 discussion questions, I respond with a paragraph at least specific to that person's initial post, to that discussion question, to every person, and virtually always within 24 hours. I usually go on twice a day during the response time of the week, especially when I know responses are coming in. So you try to make it timely, be one of the first to respond, and that generates responses onto itself. With an individual, it's just straightforward. Just make the parallel column of comments, on what they send in, send that back, and then they respond sometimes to that. Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
In your online course, how do you know your students aren't cheating?
Well, you have to ask questions that are hard to cheat on. In theology, it's really easy to cheat because there's every resource known to man if you ask generic questions. But if you ask questions that are specific to their life story, if you ask questions specific to the taped video, the lecture presentation that I make, that's unique to this course. Nobody else uses my phrases or my frame of reference or my examples. You base questions on that. They've got to go to our stuff, experience it for themselves, and respond to it, because there is nothing except that information. So that linked up with their own personal life experience, it'd be pretty hard to have somebody step in and do that for them.
What resources are essential for you to function as an online instructor?
Oh, well, I mean, thank goodness we've got the IT folks and IDC folks who keep the place running, and if there's somebody who says, I can't make Angel work, it doesn't work for me, I am not the person to ask, other than try rebooting your computer. After that, I got nothing, as far as help for them. So it's great to be able to say, you know what? Get in touch with IT, get in touch with IDC, try this, try that, but they're going to take care of you better. And as long as our systems are up and running, and they are, once the courses are certified good to go, they really do just flow right along, and people do not complain. They've got access to things, and it really works well. So as long as IDC and IT are up and running, we're good.
What advice would you give to future online instructors?
Stay on, stay on, stay on. You got to be on every day. It's my experience. Check every day because people are on every single day, and they appreciate getting back to them. And I know there are days when you just can't. I know there are special event days, but when you say, okay, I'm going to do this, especially if it's a collaborative class, you're on every day, and stuff is coming in. And I think people appreciate being timely in your response, participating in the conversation that's going on with the group, and not just watching it a couple times a week from a distance. You got to plunge in, be a part of it, and people welcome you, so to speak, into their circle, and you create that circle. So that'd be the main thing. Just be a part of it.